Good afternoon, assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to Llandow for another round of Club 100 Sprint 60. As you can see, I'm starting in 5th place. It's very lowly by my standards, but Llandow isn't one of my better circuits. It's one of my worst, so it was a damage limitation round. Try to get as many points as possible. My championship rival is that guy in the orange helmet. But of course there is pride at stake, so I want to beat the two drivers in front of me as well. We are off to an absolutely terrible start because Fraser Brunton doesn't know how to press the accelerator on a race start. So we drop all the way down to, what is that, 7th place, 8th place? Either way, it's an awful start. And at this point I was thinking, well, my day hasn't started off fantastically, has it? So we're going to go straight up the inside into this right hand, and as you can see, the track is damp. It was wet at the start of the day, well, greasy at the start of the day, and it was drying up. So when we started this race, it had been about half an hour since we had done qualifying, so the track had changed, and this was, well, our first lap in the new conditions to try to learn what the track conditions are like. And going for an overtake up the inside, you don't know if it is dry offline, so it is a risky overtake to do. I've got the hiccups and I've got a cold while recording this, so apologies in advance. But there is a group of karts up ahead. They're having a fight. I want to get involved in it, but for now it's just about hooking up the laps, and I wasn't feeling particularly fast in qualifying. It was damp and greasy, and usually I'm alright in the damp, but it got a little bit too dry. It wasn't quite greasy enough for it to be like my kind of special conditions. So I did struggle a little bit in qualifying, and I was struggling in the race as well, just to find that extra bit of time. After this race was over, I kind of thought back to where I was gaining, where I was losing time. I spoke to some of the other drivers and I realized, that's what I was screwing up. So I then changed that, and in race 2 I was much quicker. But for race 1, I'm still just trying to catch up to this group of karts up ahead, and you can see that they are battling, they are scrapping, and that is allowing us to catch up. So I'm not going to rush anything because I know that I am slowly gaining, and once I can catch up to them, then hopefully I can stick with them to the end of the race, or even get past them as well. So I feel like this is the first point that I'm really within striking distance. I'm only a couple of kart lengths behind, and you can see how wet it is on the inside going into that right-hander. So we're all taking a nice wide line. That completely changed in race 2, and it's what made this day a little bit more fun, the fact that the track conditions were changing, and because the track was so green, it was different lines compared to what we'd take if it was completely dry, for example, like last year. Now Fraser's looking to have a go up the inside of Lewis Marchant, I believe, into the hairpin, and I'm going to do this cheeky thing, right? I get a good exit, I'm going to push Dave Cottrell along. That means he's going to go up the inside of Lewis Marchant, and now I'm like, yes, dance for me, puppets, fight each other. And while they fight each other, I'm going to give Dave another little push, and then I'm going to go up the inside of him. I'm going to say, thank you for fighting with Lewis, I'll take that position. And then I'm like, this is how you overtake Lewis, and I understeer and go into the side of Lewis, but I get the overtake done, a sketchy overtake, probably the sketchiest overtake I've done this year. But as I mentioned, on the inside it was damp, it was greasy, so you get on it, you just understeer. I don't even think I got a contact warning for that somehow. I feel like that should have been a contact warning, in all honesty. But skipping forward 5 laps down the road, those two have a little bish bash. There's a little bit of contact between them, and that has allowed me to close in. It took me a long time to start to reel in these two, but now that we're here, I'm thinking, okay, let's start planning a move. It had taken me so long to catch them, and it was just chipping away a few hundredths, half a tenth every lap. And they're going into the hairpin. Lewis Marchant decides that he wants to overtake me, and I'm like, all right, buddy, all right, I see what you've done there, Lewis. You've pulled a fast one on me. And I wasn't expecting it, because I thought, you know, we're working together, we're slowly catching up to the two ahead, so we'll keep doing that. Lewis will push me along if he gets close enough, but he went for the move, which he is fairly completely entitled to do. And in the same way that he's entitled to overtake me, a little bit later on, I get a decent run coming on to the back straight. So I'm going to send him. I'm not working with Lewis because he didn't want to work with me. So you know what? Sort it. Up the inside we go. We're going to reclaim 5th position, and then a yellow flag comes out. So stationary yellow flag. It is a full course yellow, which means that the entire field is going to be bunching up together as I... Hang on, give me a second. I'm going to fix my microphone. It's a little bit wonky. There we go. So full course yellow is done. We're getting ready to go green. And critically, I got that overtake on Lewis March and done literally the corner before the yellow flag came out. So that was huge. And yeah, we're in 5th. So that was a stroke of luck coming my way. I feel like I deserve a bit of luck, or there's been a bit of bad luck that I've had this season. So now it's just get my head down and don't make stupid mistakes like the one I just did, and see if I can gain a couple of positions. Try to get past these two quickly enough to maybe stick with Jack O'Neill and Fraser Brunton up at the front of the field. But that being said, it is looking unlikely because those two just look too quick. So realistically at this point in the race I was thinking, right, let's see if I can get 3rd. Andrew Graham's going to go defensive, and I'm already thinking, okay, this is going to open up a really good opportunity for me to maybe get involved. However, the driver in front of me, I actually don't know his name. I should know his name. It's his first appearance in our video, so hello new person. Welcome to the Milky Cereal video, where I shall roast you momentarily when I overtake you. Yes, spoilers, I'm about to overtake him because here we go up the inside. We don't understeer into him as my microphone falls onto my mouth again. So yeah, we don't understeer into him. He leaves us room, we get the job done. So I think that's a good debut appearance for him in a Milky Cereal video. You know, having a good race in 4th, gets overtaken, nothing too spicy. And then we have finally caught up to Andrew Graham on lap 24. It took a long time to reel him in. It was taking me ages just to close into everyone, and as I mentioned, I wasn't feeling particularly quick here at Llandow, and it was showing in race 1 and in qualifying. So heads down. Now that I'm within striking distance, just trying not to mess it up. Andrew goes wide through that right hander. Now I'm coming into the part of the circuit where I was actually relatively quick. I was very quick through here in race number 2, but I get a decent exit. I'm in the slipstream, and you get a fair bit of waft on this back straight. So we're going to pull to the inside. We're going to go on the brakes. We're going to just ease off the brakes and pull off a nice little send going into the final corner. And would you look at that, we are now up into 3rd position. And yeah, I'm going to be honest, that's kind of where we stayed all race. I had Dave Cottrell behind me in 4th, and he was hounding me. He was pushing me in places, but he was never able to go for a move. So we held on to 3rd, and as I said before, it's a damage limitation round. We beat our championship rival. Jack O'Neill's too far gone in the championship to hunt him down. So I'll take a 3rd at Llandow just because it's not one of my better circuits. I wasn't driving well, so I feel like getting a 3rd when I was probably driving the worst that I've done all season long is pretty good. I can't think of another race where I was driving as bad as I was in that race. It just didn't feel right. Everything felt wrong and out of sync. So I'm very happy to be able to come away with a podium. But then we're going into race number 2, and I am starting from 3rd position. And of course, I was excited because instead of starting 5th, when I started 5th, I finished 3rd. Now I'm starting 3rd. Surely I'm going to finish 1st, right? The math don't lie. Now, I, unlike Fraser, know how to start behind Jack O'Neill. This is how you start Fraser, right? You press the accelerator when he does, and look at that. We're pretty much on his bumper. However, unfortunately, we can't get past Fraser. I'm not going to try to fight him just yet because there's a long game, right? We need to hunt down Jack. So it's not about trying to overtake Fraser straight away. It's about trying to hunt down Jack. And Fraser gets that because he sends one of the greatest moves I've seen straight up the inside of Jack O'Neill on lap 1, on the damp stuff, really. And he pulls it off as well. It's actually fair play to him. That is a stonker of a move. When I was watching this footage back earlier, I saw that move again. I was like, damn. And even when I saw it on the first lap, I was like, you know what? To go for that move on the opening lap when the tires are a little bit cold, you're a little bit nervous even about where the grip is. That requires some balls. And then I push Fraser along so he can get past Jack. And then he lets Jack back through, which has to be the least ballsiest thing I've seen, really. So I still have no idea, as the microphone falls on my mouth again, I have no idea why Fraser let Jack back through. It doesn't make sense to me. I think maybe he just doesn't want to win, but then he sends it up the inside of Jack, fully up on the curb. Jack gives him room and is like, bruh, just stop. You're embarrassing yourself now. And then I push Fraser, so he goes a little bit wide. That one's on me. I just braked too late. So I'm kind of enjoying myself here because I'm just enjoying watching Fraser go for like some of these absolutely ridiculous sends into the double right. And for a second I thought he was going to do it into the hairpin, but I know that as long as these two battle, I can stay involved. But they were pulling away from me, and this is what I kind of thought might happen, that once they get into a rhythm they'll start to pull. And I was kicking myself at this point because I was just thinking, where is the pace? And I realized, okay, I really need to start pushing. I need to start finding a bit of time, as Fraser's about 3 kart lengths back and still sends it up the inside of Jack O'Neill. See, Club 100 guys, this is what, you can't do this in sprints, because if you do this in sprints, someone's going to turn in on you and kill themselves. But you can do it in sprint 60 because, you know, we have this thing called racing awareness. It's a rare talent, really, that's only found in the Sprint 60 Championship and BPEC. Sprint drivers don't actually have it. They lose it. As soon as it goes from Saturday to Sunday, their eyes mysteriously shut. I don't know why I'm slacking off the sprint drivers right now. But Jack then, I don't know if you saw that, but he did like a little lasso onto Fraser, and that actually helped us because moving forward, we now start to catch up to Jack. So the lasso effect, or the lasso effect helped us reel in Jack. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to send Jack because I'm starting to feel quick. I just started to find pace and started to lap quicker. So I went for the send. Jack goes for a switch back. Fair enough. And he retakes second. But I wasn't having any of that because I knew I was faster. I was like, sorry Jack, I'm not pushing you along. I'm quick enough to hunt down Fraser, so I'm getting past you. I'm not in the work together mood, as I completely fluffed the entry, but Jack doesn't get a good exit, and I think Jack had probably not the best of cuts. Initially on the day, I thought I had a rocket ship. Looking back at it, I don't know if I did. I'm quite undecided as to how good the kart that I had was. We get a good exit though coming onto the back straight, and now slipstream comes into effect. Jack points me through because he realizes, look, if I try to defend from Milky, we're both going to lose time. If I let Yusuf through, Yusuf can try to hunt Fraser and I can try to follow because I had a bit of pace. And it worked. Because on lap 15, I have reeled in Mr. Fraser Brunton, or Brazer Frunton. Well, it is actually Brazer Frunton because he's in front of us, right? So Brazer Frunton is up ahead, and I'm starting to think, right, we've got a race on. And this is a one corner where Fraser was quicker than me. And then there's a yellow flag comes out. So Brazer completely slows down, but I know that he's trying to catch me off. So he comes to it like near dead standstill in a local yellow flag so that we all get bunched up. And then after we're bunched up, he then goes thinking that he can gap me. But I don't go napping, right? I had a full night's sleep. Not going to get caught napping, so I only lose like half a second behind him. But he has gained a bit of time on me, so his tactic did work. Annoyingly, I now have like 5 karts right behind me trying to get past. And at this point, I set my fastest lap of the race. But I was just thinking, you know, I hope now, because of these cheeky tactics by Brazer Frunton, I was thinking, if I get past him, I really hope all of these karts behind me also get past him. That'll teach him for bunching the pack up. because that'd be funny. But first, before we can do that and laugh at him, we need to overtake him, which is, of course, not that difficult. So I know that I'm good coming out of this sequence of corners, so that's what I'm going to try to do. I get a good run. I'm in the slipstream. I'm not going to gain actually that much on slipstream. I think Fraser's car had fairly good top end. Nice and late on the brakes. Tried to get the run coming out of the corner. And then there was a back marker, and I got very scared because Fraser goes up the inside, and I know that I have to immediately follow through. I do that, I get a good run, I've got a better exit, and I know, right, it's time to go up the inside into the double left-hander. And just like that, we took the lead of the race. And at this point I thought, I've got the pace, head down, I'll pull away. Freest win of the season. Unfortunately, it wasn't that good, because a few laps later, Fraser must have put in some of the laps of his life to be right on my back end and send it up my inside into the hairpin. And at this point, Fraser then started to defend. The reason why he started to defend is because he knew that I was quicker than him. Because if he thought he was at the same pace as me, or faster, he would have just sat behind me, pushed me along, or, you know, left the door open for me to go for a send. But I reckon he was petrified that I was actually quicker than him. So I think I had gapped him. I made a mistake. He caught back up, went for the move, and realized that if I got back past him, he wouldn't actually have the pace to re-overtake me. So he knew that he had to defend from here to the end of the race for the next 12, 13 minutes. And going into this final corner, he goes a bit defensive. So I kind of thought he'd go completely defensive, but he didn't. So that one caught me out, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. What are we going to do? So I'm just going to sit behind him. I know I can't overtake into this opening sequence of corners. I'm just going to focus on getting a nice exit, sit on his bumper, push him along when I can so that maybe we can pull away from the others. However, he goes defensive into the corner, which is really, really useful. And then going into this right hand, I'm still just trying to get a good exit so that I can go for an overtake somewhere. But at the moment, there is no opportunities to be honest. So Fraser's driving a really good defensive drive. I mean, fair play to him. And I'm just struggling to find a way through. So I'm trying to bait that I'm going to the outside. I then look to the inside and I think, oh, I'm not quite close enough. I don't want to break that far over to the inside. I should have. So instead, I just sit behind and try to think of a better place to overtake, but Fraser is literally white lining it everywhere except for into that final corner, where I'm just having a little bit of nerves, I guess. Again, really defensive into this double left-hander, so I get a good run. I'm behind him, but I know he's going to go defensive, and then I get a little push from behind. Jack goes past me. I've got another driver to my inside, and he's got a driver right on his back end, so I've dropped from second down to 5th. But it's not over yet, because I'm going to drop down to 6th. And I was absolutely livid here. And I needed some superpowers. The only way for me to climb up the order was to use superpowers. And I've not had to use these superpowers all season. It's time to call in the Eurobeat. Thank you very much for that, Eurobeat. We're back up into second place. And Brazer Frunton is looking behind him and thinking, not this guy again. I thought I dropped him down to 6th. And I'm like, yeah, you did, but I'm back. And now I've gained something. I've gained talent. Because from having to overtake all of those other drivers, I've now gained confidence. And now I believe that I can overtake him anywhere. So his whole tactic of dropping me down the order has actually played to my advantage. I'm now ready for round 2 with Brazer Frunton. So here we go. I'm on his back end. We all know what this guy is going to do. He's going to go defensive. So I'm going to send it round the outside. And we don't quite pull it off. Andrew Graham gets past. And I'm like, no, Andrew, get lost. You're a nice guy and all that. But you're not allowed in this battle. This is my little battle with Fraser. Well, actually, it's a big battle. So, you know, go away for a bit. I'm like, okay, Fraser, I see what you did. You pushed me. And he's no longer Brazer Frunton now. We've got to change another letter of his name. He is now Bruiser Franton. Yeah, it's like the most epic boxer name of all time, Bruiser Franton. In fairness though to Bruiser, right? He was perfectly entitled to do that. I wasn't fully alongside him. He didn't need to leave me a room. I don't even think he would have seen me, even if he looked. So that one was on me. But I was thinking, okay, that move is actually doable. So I'm going to try to go around the outside of this right-hander. Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work. And Bruiser Franton didn't even need to take the gloves off. He kept the gloves on to be able to beat me through that corner. And now I've got Andrew Graham in front of me again. I'm like, Andrew, stop inviting yourself to this private battle. You didn't get an invitation, buddy. But he invites himself. Fair play to him. He's getting stuck in. And I'm like, no, go away. So I go back off the inside of Andrew. We retake second place. And I'm like, Bruiser, I'm coming for you, buddy. I'm back up into second. And I genuinely would love to know what was going through Fraser's head at this time. Because every time I dropped back and fell behind someone, he then sees me back behind him. I was kind of loving this race. I was having like a little smile on my face, but I was also getting really pissed off because I was like, how do I overtake this person? Because I was struggling. So I realized, okay, he doesn't go defensive into the final corner, so let's get the run through this chicane onto the back straight, sit in the slipstream. He has a little look over his shoulder, and I know, I don't care, I'm going for the send. Even if I'm a little bit further back, I go up the inside, I outbrake myself. Bruiser's going to get the switchback. He can't quite see his car yet, but he is there. I'm not going to hang around the outside, that'd be stupid. And I know where I'm quicker, I know I can still overtake him into that final corner. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I thought about sending it around the outside again, but I thought, you know what? An overtake into the final corner is an easier move, right? I did it on the last lap, I just need to get it stopped. So I know exactly what to do, and Fraser also knows what I'm going to do. He knows that I'm coming in the final corner. There's no way, as that's a track limit extension there from Fraser. Definitely worthy of a warning. Again, I hold it a little bit tighter through the left. That means I can open up the right. I get a better exit. I'm in the slipstream. Fraser's not going to go fully defensive because otherwise I can get a really good switchback. He leaves the door open. I park it on the apex. You can have a little listen back and you'll see that I don't go on the throttle. I wait for him to hit my rear end. And when he does, I then go. It's a really cool karting tactic. It's the last lap of the race, and I have now pulled a 1 second gap to the group behind because they all started battling. So yeah, we take the win in race number 2 at a circuit that I am not particularly fond of. So a third and a first. I almost won the round, but unfortunately it came down to fastest lap, and the fastest lap was actually picked up in race number 1 by Jack O'Neill. So I didn't get the round win. It's another second place. We are a little bit closer to taking second in the championship, and hey, it's another race win, and the second time this season that I've beaten Fraser as well. So I'm quite happy with that. And yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've got a video coming out of my race and a test day at Brands Hatch soon. It's going to be absolutely epic. But that is all for this video at Llandow. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Toodaloo!